And man, Primerica just changes the way you think. You know, growing up where I grew up, I didn't know anybody successful. I didn't know anybody who owned a business. I didn't know anybody who was a millionaire. I'm telling you, you could take the last like 200 years of generation of Coopers in my family, add up all their net worth, it wouldn't be $1 million. And here we're gonna go on over $1 million a year in income, guys. It's insane. And I really do remember, you know, a lot of you guys will relate to this, you know, growing up and just hoping and dreaming that one day, you know, I could be successful and one day I could be the go-to guy for my family and, you know, I could live a dream life. And being a millennial, you know, we've had it plastered in our faces all the time through social media and MTV, watching MTV Cribs, and we see these people living the lives that we want, right? Driving the Bentleys, living in the mansions, traveling across the world. And I remember seeing all these things. And I remember thinking that the only way that I could have the life that I really want is I had to be some kind of performer, right? The people who live these lives, you have to be a performer, a singer, a dancer, actor, or you have to be a professional athlete. And you know, some of you guys in the room, you've been blessed to hear me sing, right? And you know that wasn't the route for me. Some of y'all might have caught a glimpse of me last night on the dance floor. When it comes to dancing, all I got is like that white boy thing. No matter what, my shoulders take over, no matter what I'm doing. And so it wasn't going to be that. So for me, I really believed growing up it was going to be sports. A lot of my guys have heard me tell this story, but you know, I'm one of those people. I've been this exact same size since I was 12 years old, okay? So I was 6'2", 180 pounds by the time I was 12, and I used to be a beast athlete. Baseball was my sport, and I was a pitcher, and I'd stand up on that pitcher's mound, and I would just mow down these little kids, you know? I was the guy that had that mustache no 12-year-old should have. My mom had to literally she's probably watching the TV show right now. My mom had to carry around my birth certificate to prove I was only 12. And so I really believe, like you'd asked me when I was 12 years old, there was not a doubt in my mind that I was going to grow up. I was going to be a professional baseball player. I was going to be a multi-millionaire. I was going to buy me a mansion, buy my parents a matching mansion right next to mine. Me and my dad, we were going to drive matching red Corvettes, and I was going to live this dream life. And I really, really remember believing that was going to happen to me. But then what happens, you know, a few years passed by, I stopped growing, you know, and I became really apparent when I was 17, about to graduate high school, that all my sports career was ending at high school. And I went from having this big dream mentality to I went into survival mode. I was like, man, well, hopefully I can just get into college and, you know, maybe I can get a job, make $15, $20 an hour, and maybe I can move out of my mom and dad's house and survive, you know, and that's where I was at when Primerica found us. And I was like a lot of you guys, I was drugged to my first Primerica meeting. Whitney drugged me there. I sat in the back, slumped over, didn't want to be there, was half paying attention. But man, my life changed that day. The speaker got up, and I remember him saying, man, who in here ever thought about being wealthy or like to be wealthy? And like everybody else that was barely paying attention without thinking about it, my hand shot up. And he went on to say, he said, well, if you want to be wealthy, shouldn't you know how the wealthy 1% of Americans got to be wealthy? And I was like, that makes sense. And he went on to show me that it was that most people in America, they don't end up being wealthy by being a performer or a professional athlete. He showed me this slide that said 75% of people in America that end up wealthy, they did it by becoming an entrepreneur and owning their business. And I realized that night my dreams came alive again. I saw that I didn't have to be 6'8" and run a 4-flat 40 to be successful. They went on to tell me if I would come here, if I would plug in and be coachable, I would self-improve, I would grow, and I would learn that they could show me how to become successful and own my own business in 12 to 24 months. And we were just naive enough to believe it. You know, and we're in Disney right now, and Disney's a place where dreams come true. But I want you guys to know Primerica, really what Primerica is, man, it's a place that brings your dreams back to life. And guys, what I want to do now, I want to bring up my amazing, beautiful wife. She's my dream woman. She's the heart and soul of our business. No one works harder than she does. No one loves them more than she does. I love you so much, babe. Give it up for my amazing wife, the amazing Whitney Cooper.
Good job, baby. Killed it. Awesome job, Rob. Hey, I remember so many nights, right? The nights where the KTs didn't go right? Your best guy quits, even though we know our best guy never quits. And I remember me and Rob laying in bed, and I'd just sell him the vision. I'd sell him the dream. I'd say, babe, can you believe one day we're going to wake up, and we're not going to have an agenda. We're not going to have a schedule. We're not going to have a time we have to be here or there. We can get the one-way flights and no flight home and just total freedom. And I want you guys just to understand, you know, so many nights, you know, we just laid up and I just painted the vision of what it was going to look like. And not that we've arrived, we're so far from there, but just the feeling of just getting a little taste of it. I just want you guys to understand, and that's what our job is as leaders. It's to paint the vision. It's to paint the dream for our people. We owe it to our guys to do that, and so many times I heard the great, Jimmy Meyer, our great leader, and he'd talk about, we'd say, well, Jimmy, he'd tell the story of, they asked him what was the best, contest that he ran, the best event. And he always said it was the one I promoted the most. You know what I mean? He says the one I promoted the most, it's the one I sold out on the most. He said it didn't matter what it was how I promoted it. And he always said the biggest leaders are the biggest promoters. And I just think that's so true. Our job as leaders, and how could we not be the biggest promoters at this time in our company, right? I mean, the company's at an all-time high, right? Stock's at an all-time high. The numbers are bigger and better than ever. People are moving through the system faster than ever. There's diamonds given away every single day. Are you kidding me in this company? And it's like, why not go get ours? Why not go get yours? And we just look at what a time. How can we not be the biggest promoters? And I don't think we can promote this big enough. I don't think we could over-promote something so big, so great as the Great Primerica. And guys, I look back at our first event, our very first event. I remember me and Rob, we were sitting in a meeting, and they promoted our next big fast start school, right? And it was the Marchesani's Fast Start School. It was a hierarchy school. It was at Beaver Creek, Colorado. People always ask us, they go, what was the biggest thing that your leaders did, your uplines did? And our uplines are Brady and Jen Mann. And I said, the biggest thing they did is they painted us a vision, man. They sold us the dream. And what I mean by that, I remember our first event, they were promoting Beaver Creek, Colorado. You got to go. And I'll be honest, guys, we were brand new to the company, just newly licensed, had no one on our team, had never seen success, never made a sell. And they're talking about Beaver Creek, Colorado. Now, we're from Texas, right? And I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, Beaver Creek, you had to fly to Colorado. Then you had to rent a car and drive 4 hours into the mountains, right? Get a hotel. We hadn't made $1 at this thing yet. And I'll be honest with you guys, I had zero plans of going, okay? Now, I sat through the event, I smiled, and then afterwards, they came up to me and Rob, and we were brand new to the business. And they said, you guys are going, right? And we looked at him and I said, yeah, we're gonna try. And I smiled because that was okay, you know what I mean? I said, we're gonna try and make it, coach, and I said, we're gonna try and make it. And they looked at me and they go, no, you don't just try to make it, you're either going or you're not. And I'll be honest, guys, like I said, we were brand new, hadn't made $1. I thought this was some financial advising me. I thought we would be doing calculate. I had no idea what we're getting into. And thank goodness they painted the vision. Thank goodness they talked about, man, it was gonna be a life-changing, powerful event. They talked to us about our lives would never be the same. And we didn't want the same. We wanted them to be different, right? They talked to us about how they go, Whitney, you don't understand. The group that stays, like here they are, they said, I want you to imagine a group getting into a slingshot and it slingshots them over everybody else who stayed. People who stay will be passed up, right? I'm telling you, they'll be passed up like they're standing still. You have to go. It's a life-changing, it'll be the most powerful event you'll ever go to, guys. And they painted the vision for us. And we started selling out to it, guys, and we went, and that's where guys, our life changed from that one event. That's where we came up with the Triple C and what it was gonna stand for and the vision of what it was gonna look like and how it was gonna be and what our lives were gonna look like. For the first time ever, we saw we could compete again, we could win again, we could go do something big with our lives again. And guys, that's what I ask is, how many of those, like how many new people, right? I mean, I thank God they didn't let us off the hook. Guys, because they didn't let us off the hook, listen to this. 3 years later, by a brand new couple coming into their business and then promoting it like crazy, making us, they didn't see, a lot of us, our guys say, I'm gonna try, and we go, yeah, you need to try, and we let them off the hook. Guys, we can't let our guys off the hook. Thank goodness they followed it up with, no, you don't try, you're either going or you're not. Guys, because of that one decision, because they painted a vision, because they sold us the dream, because they didn't let us off the hook, that couple now, okay, 3 years after that moment, they retired making $10,000 to $15,000 a month because they didn't let a couple off the hook because they sold the vision. And that's what I ask us guys in closing is, man, how many people are we gonna off the hook because maybe they're brand new, right? What about us? How many of us are registered for Indy? How big is our team registered for Indy? How many of us are gonna go to Indy being doubled, right? Double our team size, guys. We gotta go all out. Man, the company's calling us to double for Indy. The biggest leaders are the biggest promoters. Let's go do it. Let's go do it big. We love you guys so much, and we'll see you at the top.